Hi everyone, welcome to the very first episode of Advice You Didn't Ask For. I'm your co-host Hannah Dietzenbach, and I'm a senior here at Fall River High School.
And I'm Ella Steers, your other co-host and also a senior here at Fall River.
Since this is our first episode, we thought we'd start off by giving you a little background about who we are, what this podcast is about, and what you can expect going forward.
Advice You Didn't Ask For is an upbeat, honest podcast where we talk about some deep topics. You'll hear advice that's straightforward, no sugarcoating. We're here to give it to you straight.
The stories we talk about come from the students right here at Fall River High School. We set up a Google form where you can anonymously submit topics you want advice on.
These topics include everything from relationships and friendships to family issues, growing up, and so much more.
If you'd like to send something in, you can email your topic to me at hdietzenbach@fallriver.k12.wi.us or keep an eye out. I'll be sending out another anonymous form in the next few weeks.
Now, you might be wondering, why should I take advice from these two? Hannah and I have been best friends for about a year now, but we've known each other since we were both kids. We're both part of different friend groups, which, let's be real, means we both had our fair share of drama.
We both experienced friendship breakups, navigating toxic friendships, and learned a lot along the way.
And we've both been in toxic relationships too. Getting out of those situations helped us understand our worth and learn how to avoid making the same mistakes again.
Those experiences taught us how to build healthier relationships, and we're happy to say we're both in great relationships now.
That's just a little bit about us. You'll get to know us even more as you listen to the show.
For today's episode, we're talking about the world of relationships. We'll be reading and giving advice on 3 different submissions. One about toxic relationships, another about crushes, and a third about navigating friendships when you're in a relationship.
Hannah's going to kick things off with the first submission.
Okay, so here's the first story. So me and my boyfriend have been together for over a year, and he is the first boy that I actually really love, but he keeps talking to other girls and says he's going to change, but he never does. Every time I talk to him about my feelings, he turns it around and makes it my fault, like I don't do enough for him. What do I do?
Okay, I would say if he's your boyfriend, you should be his first priority every day. Like every minute it should be about you, not about anyone else. And if he's making you question, then he's not the one for you.
Yeah, I feel like your feelings should be validated when you're in a relationship. So I feel like that's like one of the first red flags that I noticed just right away in this is that if you feel like he doesn't understand your feelings, he doesn't validate your feelings, and he's just like going to other girls to solve that, that's not really something you look for. And if you want to get married or something else down the line.
Yeah, and especially if this is happening only a year into the relationship, what's going to happen in a year from now, 2 years from now?
And, like, I understand that, like, being together for a year means a lot. You've probably met each other's families. You've gone through a lot together, and that's, like, a big time frame. But I feel like a year can also show all those things. Like, that's how you found out that he's not validating your feelings and stuff.
Yeah, I think if he's showing all these red flags so early, you have a whole life. You need to remember that. You're going to be with this red flag forever. And if he's going for other women already, what's he going to do when you're married? If you plan on getting married.
And, like, kind of like what Ella said, like, he got away with it, you went back to him. He got away with it again, you went back to him. That's what I'm kind of getting from this. And I feel like if you keep letting him do what he's doing without any consequences, and he knows that you're going to be there right around the corner to get back with him, he's never going to stop. Because once a cheater, always a cheater, as the quote goes, so.
I would also say if he turns it back on you, what is he doing? Why is he making you feel like the bad person when he's the one that's finding other girls? What have you been doing wrong? Like, he can't own up to that, and that is definitely showing something about his personality that you should probably assess before you continue a relationship with him.
Yeah, and you said the first boy that I actually really love. And I feel like that's hard because I feel like your first boyfriend, like, sometimes you, like, think you're in love, or it's like teenage love, because we know this came from a teenager, so you know that first, like, teenage love feeling, and maybe you're, like, the idea that you're in love with a boy, you like the idea that you have a boy, but maybe you're not truly, really in love with him, because I feel like you can't be in love with someone that doesn't treat you right.
Yeah. But I will say I do understand where you're coming from. It's going to be really hard. Even the idea of breaking up, it's going to hurt for a long time, but at the end of the day, you have to do it. And it's your first love. It's going to sting. It's okay. It's going to take a long, long time, but you've got it.
And then just some tips and tricks if you, like, want to bring up the conversation. Like, because guys and girls both don't like it when someone breaks up with them and they like don't, quote unquote, don't have like a reason. So you can like bring up like how you're feeling, like how he never validates your feelings, and maybe you can be like, I feel this way, these are my feelings, I feel like you don't validate them, and I will break up with you if you do not change. And then maybe give him some time to change, and then if you notice that he doesn't change, then be like, well, I did tell you that I would break up with you if you didn't change your feelings. And then if you do decide to break up with him and actually break up, you need to block him on everything. Go no contact. Never reach out again, because if he even follows you on something, that will not be good. I strongly agree with, if you're breaking up with someone, break up with them.
Yeah, and also make sure Instagram, everything is completely done, because he can DM you, and you're giving him an option, and you're giving yourself an option when your only option should be to move on. Also, if you want extra help, tell your parents. Tell them exactly what he did wrong, and then they will help you. Be like, nope, don't contact him. He hurt you like this. He did this to you. No. And then they'll hold you accountable if you don't trust yourself to keep consistent.
And we don't know who you are, but I hope you have a also strong friend group and have good friends that can help support you. And so, yeah. So we're going to move on to the second story, which Ella's going to read.
Okay, here's the second story. I really like this man, but I also don't want a relationship. You probably know who this is if I say I have options, but I found one I want. He knows I like him because he likes me back. I don't want to say no, but I'm not going to be the man and ask him. What should I do?
I feel like this story is a lot. We really have to break this down sentence by sentence. So you want to read the first sentence again?
I really like this man, but also don't want a relationship.
I feel like you kind of wrote it there yourself. Like, you stated that you don't want a relationship. So if you don't feel like you're ready for a relationship, that means you aren't ready to put your full commitment into someone. So maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship.
Yeah, and maybe you should think, why don't you want a relationship? Is it something that he's done? Is it the way he's acting already? Or is it something about you need to work on yourself before that?
Or is it like past trauma, like something that happened in a past relationship, so that's why you don't want another one now? So maybe like dive into that idea of what exactly you don't want.
Yes. Then the next sentence, you'll probably know who I am if I say I have options, but I found one I want. If you found one that you want, then go for him, I would say.
Like, I feel like you shouldn't be hanging a man on just because you found one that you like, but you're not ready for a relationship.
Yeah. I would say you definitely have to figure out what you actually want, and if you don't want a relationship, you need to tell yourself that and let yourself feel that way.
And I know getting led on is not a good feeling, so you do not want to be the person leading someone else on.
Third sentence, he knows I like him because he likes me back. We understand that you both like each other, but if you're not ready for a relationship, that's okay. You can still like someone, but if you're not ready, you're not ready. I don't want to say no, but I'm not going to be the man and ask him.
So this is where it gets a little bit confusing, because she doesn't want to say no. So that means she does want a relationship? And then I don't want to be the man and ask him. So that's why she wants him to ask her.
But if you don't want a relationship, then why do you want him to ask you?
That's what we're just a little bit confused about.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe, I don't know, like in the beginning it seems like she doesn't, but by the end it's like she does.
Mm-hmm. So. I don't know. And if you're not ready for a relationship, just extend the talking stage if you don't want to completely leave him. But I don't know. I feel like if you're not ready, then stop leading him on.
And I feel like a talking stage can be good. Maybe 2-3 months talking stage isn't bad. That can maybe also give you time to like learn, what do you actually want? But if you know right now that you don't want anything like for high school or something, then don't lead the guy on.
Yeah, and just let him know. If he really likes you that much and he thinks you're the one, then he'll wait for you. He'll hold out hope for you. He'll wait. And if he wants to rush things, then that's your sign that he's not the one.
So yeah, I feel like the first step is just figure out what you want, and then the second step would be getting in the relationship with the guy if you do want that. If you don't want that, then being kind and breaking it off nicely, letting them know it's not a you thing, it's like a me thing. And I feel like
I don't know. I would just definitely take your time and figure out what you actually want, because getting into a relationship that you don't want is not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for him, and it's not going to lead to a good outcome.
And you're just in high school. You got some time left. You'll not meet other men, but like you have time to grow, and I feel like it's a good time to like love yourself first.
Yeah. And I don't want to say experiment, but it's okay. It's all going to be okay. If you want to keep talking, that's fine. If you don't, just end it. It's going to be okay. It's just high school.
That is true. Okay, are we ready for the third story?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the final story. Ever since I got a boyfriend, my friend has been getting angry at me for hanging out with her less, when she is the one who is hanging out with me less and ditching me for her friends. She still vents to me and only expects me to listen to her problems, to the point where I can't even talk about my problems to her anymore. What should I do? I feel like this is two separate issues in itself.
I agree. I would say your first part, ever since I got a boyfriend, my friend's been getting angry at me for hanging out with her less. You need to make sure that you're not actually putting in less effort because you have a boyfriend. Because in your mind, you might be thinking that you're trying the same amount. But at the end of the day, you're probably putting your boyfriend higher than her because you're obsessed with him. You're just in love, like La La Land. But you have to remember she's always been there for you, and you need to keep putting in effort.
Especially like the first like 3 months of the relationships, it's very like, oh my gosh, him.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you can get really into that honeymoon fantasy phase and forget about the friends that were there for you. And I feel like that's a really big thing, is navigating friendships and relationships.
Yeah. And especially, I don't know, maybe if he goes to our school, that's one thing. If he goes to a separate school, then spend more time with your friends during the school day. Just focus on them. Don't be texting him all the time. He can wait. It's fine. But if he does go to our school, I would say maybe like switch out who you hang out with, like at lunch, say. Like maybe go out for lunch with him one day and then stay with your friends. Like just make it more even if you are still interested in being friends with her. But it sounds like you're a little bit rocky right now, so.
That's the other point. I feel like it might not just be the boyfriend. It might be your friendship isn't good and your friendship isn't holding up, but that just showed once you got a boyfriend.
Yeah.
So I feel like you need to first take your boyfriend out of this and be like, do I really want this friendship?
Yeah, because maybe the boyfriend isn't the reason she's upset. Maybe she's a little jealous of you because over time your relationships got more rocky, and then now you have a boyfriend and you seem more happy, I guess, and she's like, well, I want you to be happy because of me, not because of him. And it's just jealousy.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like maybe you can bring this up to her, be like, I feel like you just keep venting to me and I never get a chance to speak. I feel like this is very one-sided. And then you start blaming me for leaving you, but then you're doing the same thing back to me. And I feel like you just need to talk through that. Mm-hmm. And then maybe like, if you want to stay friends with her, like, get the problem solved, and then maybe build in some time in your week. Like, maybe we go out for lunch on Tuesdays or something like that. Like,
yeah.
Have time set in that you know you're hanging out with your friends too.
Mm-hmm. And also, I feel like, is it really a friendship if she's not letting you talk about what you want to talk about? Like, a friendship, she should be there for you for your ups and downs. And it seems like you're only there for her downs, and she's not there for you for anything. And I don't know. I would assess the friendship. And
I know that can be like really mentally draining. And so we're here for you for that, because I know if someone just keeps on talking to you in the negatives and you're just filled with the negatives and you never get to talk about the positives, and it's not good just being someone's therapist when they only want to talk to you when they're sad. Like, yeah. That's not good for your mental health or their mental health. So
yeah, I agree with that.
So I hope you figure this out, hopefully your relationship is healthy. And so then your boyfriend isn't like, well, we have to hang out 24/7. Like,
yeah, if that's what's happening, maybe you should reconsider your friendship and your relationship.
So maybe
slightly.
Maybe we can have two conversations, one with the boyfriend and one with the best friend, and figure out what is best to move forward.
Yeah, and maybe if you are concerned about, if your friend is actually that concerned about you always being with your boyfriend, maybe ask other friends. Be like, does it feel like I'm only with my boyfriend all the time, or is this just her projecting her insecurities of our friendship to me? I would say just check on that. Make sure you're not the one that's actually leaving the friendship.
Because that can also be hard. Like, sometimes you're just blindsided and you're like, I'm not in the wrong, but then you're actually the one in the wrong. Your other friends can be truthful. Hopefully you have a truthful friend like that would be like, yeah, girl, you've been with your boyfriend a little much lately.
Yeah. And I would say there's nothing wrong with that, but if you want to prioritize your friendships and your relationship, there has to be an equal balance. You can't just be with your boyfriend all the time.
And then, like, also, like, boyfriends, no offense, they don't just come and go. But, like, if you do lose that boyfriend, then you're like, wait, I don't have any friends left.
Yeah, you're going to need a support system. Your boyfriend can't be your only friend.
because like I don't know, like they've been there for you from the beginning. So I feel like you should trust them more and put love in them. Like you need friends.
Yeah.
In conclusion, you just need friends.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're going to talk about this more in the second episode. That's a lot about friendships and stuff. So we can talk about this more later. So thank you so much for tuning into the first episode of Advice You Didn't Ask For.
We hope our advice gave you something helpful to think about and apply to your relationships.
Remember, never settle for less. Set your standards high and don't date someone just to have a boyfriend. Make sure he's the right one before you go jumping into a relationship.
And if you're already in a relationship, remember that communication is the key to keeping it healthy. Openly share your feelings and concerns to build trust and understanding.
If you have any more questions or want to cover specific topics, feel free to submit them to my email at hdietzembach@fallriver.k12.wi.us.
We're so excited to create more episodes. We hope you enjoyed this one.
Next week, we'll be talking about navigating friendships and handling toxic friend groups. If that's something you're curious about, make sure you turn in.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your favorite part of this episode.
Have a wonderful rest of your week. And reminder, advice only works if you use it. So we'll catch you next episode.
Bye!
We did it! I only said it once!
Try that again.
So I can't be an actor. Think about my dog died.
I'm ready. Smile, please. So it doesn't look like you hate me. Thank you.
No sugarcoating. We're here to give you it straight. Not the oh my freaking A.
Hello.
How long was that?
1 minute.
1 minute.
Oh my god! Outro? I don't know. Color the screen stopped. And what you can expect.
Come on in. We'll start over.